Let me say this up front. If you're looking for a video where I tell you you could get top dollar no matter what, it's always a great time to buy, and you could buy anywhere in the world and it'll all magically work out, sure, I could do that, but this may not be the video for you. You see, Maryland real estate has some hard truth most people don't want to hear and they don't usually hear it until after they've already bought or sold, and then it's a costly mistake. So today I'm breaking down the real things buyers and sellers in Maryland need to hear, whether you're in Central Maryland, Montgomery County, Southern Maryland, or anywhere in between. And even some of these are going to be transferable to other states and other markets. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dewitt. I am a Maryland real estate wealth advisor. Yes, no longer going by the title of Realtor. My team is switching over to wealth advisors. I'll explain what that means in an upcoming video. First off, if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's turn this to the #1 Maryland YouTube channel in the world. Need your help to do it. I always appreciate your support. Secondly, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, relocate somewhere within Maryland, reach out to us. My information will be here on the screen, or if you just have a general question, feel free to reach out. You can call, text, email, smoke signal, send a letter. If I don't get you right away, I'll always try to get back to you. Let's jump this off with the 5 hard truths that people need to hear when buying or selling real estate here in Maryland. And again, some of this will be transferable to other markets and other areas. First off, one of the biggest lies people believe is that the Maryland market is doing this or that. There is no single Maryland market. Maryland is made up of a lot of different counties, a lot of different areas, and some of them change very drastically. There's no one Maryland market. Sorry to break it to you, right? You have places like Baltimore County that are struggling heavily with low inventory and increased demand and ever increasing prices. And then you have places like Howard County that are straight booming. Right? Prices are increasing, yet houses are flying off the shelves. There's no one Maryland market. For example, one area might have a bidding war. Another might have price cuts and sitting inventory. Another one may be stable but painfully slow. There's no telling what's happening market by market, and sometimes it's even city by city, right? You don't even have to go outside of a different county to find a new market, so to speak. Wow. Had some camera trouble there. When you hear headlines like Maryland prices are up, that doesn't mean that your neighborhood is up. And if you hear headlines like Maryland real estate crashing, doesn't necessarily mean your neighborhood is crashing. Doesn't even mean your county is crashing. Shoot, it could be on the whole other side of Maryland that real estate is crashing. You could live in Baltimore County and there could be something on the eastern shore that they're talking about. There's no one Maryland market. You got to stop believing. All the time, we get people that ask us, how's the market? And let's be real. Most people ask that and then they zone out immediately because you're expecting some rant about inventory and interest rates, commission checks, NAR, this, that, the third, right? When you ask that question, it's really impossible to answer because there's no one Maryland market. So the follow-up question is always going to be, well, what market are you talking about? Where do you want to move to? What are you looking at? If you're looking to move to Maryland or relocate to Maryland, if someone gives you advice without breaking things down county by county, sometimes zip code by zip code, they are guessing. They are flying by the seat of their pants and they are just winging it, giving you some information they think you'll like so that you'll sign with them. You need to hang up the phone and call an actual wealth advisor. Yes, not a realtor, a wealth advisor, right? They can give you the play-by-play and the true breakdown of what different Maryland markets are like. All right, truth number 2, overpricing is still the #1 mistake. We still see it happening. Yes, even today, we still see it happening. Maryland sellers are emotionally stuck in 2021. I get it. Your neighbor across the street sold for a crazy number. You saw the headline. You feel like your home is worth more. But here's the truth. Buyers are way more sensitive to price right now than sellers realize. What happens when you overprice is you get fewer showings, longer days on market. You end up reducing the price over and over and over, which actually hurts perception. meaning you get even fewer showings, and then you'll probably end up with some lowball offer. They're gonna ask for a bunch of contingencies, they're gonna ask for a bunch of concessions, and you're really not gonna be netting the most money. If you price your home strategically, notice I didn't say super, super low, because then it makes people wonder what's wrong with it, right? Price your home strategically, where it's still within that ballpark, but it's just low enough to get more eyes on it than the neighbor. If you price right from day one, your house will move a lot quicker. Homes priced to test the market are going to sit and stale and rot, okay? You don't want to test the market. You don't want to price high and see what happens. If you actually have motivation to sell, you need to price strategically. Notice the word I'm saying there. You have to price it right, and only a good realtor or good real estate wealth advisor is going to be able to help you do that. Truth number 3, interest rates don't matter as much as you think they do. I got to let that one sink in. Interest rates do not matter as much as you think they do. We always get people, again, emotionally stuck in 2021, and they're saying, well, I'm waiting for rates to drop. We ask, well, what rate would make sense for you? And they shoot out some crazy number like 2 to 3%. That was not a normal market. That was a time where the world was in crisis. Remember, we only get to 2 to 3% in times of crisis, right? War, pandemic, famine, aliens invade, something like that. And normally at that time, people don't want to move because they're scared of what's going on in the world. Everyone is waiting for rates to drop. And sure, a lower rate does help, but here's what your realtor won't tell you. When rates drop, buyer demand increases, competition increases, meaning prices often rise astronomically. If we have a sudden super low drop in rates, 2 to 3%, everybody's going to flood the market. Meaning you're going to have to compete a lot more for that same house. You're going to have to overpay. You're going to have to keep bidding up and up until you're paying a price that you're not comfortable paying. The hard truth is waiting for the perfect rate can actually cost you more, right? During that time in 2021, it wasn't uncommon for people to bid over $100,000 over asking price just to win the house. People were coming in way over asking price, and they were the only offer at the time. People didn't even want to test and risk somebody else coming in and giving a higher offer, meaning you had to pay a hefty, hefty price. And the truth is, a lot of people are kind of kicking themselves now. They overpaid for a house because they wanted to take advantage of the low rate, and now their house isn't appraising for more. It's not appreciating. Why? Because you're already $100,000 to $200,000 over what the neighborhood actually costs. You don't want to pay a ton more for the house, meaning waiting for the perfect rate is not the solution. Sure, a slightly lower rate does help, but there's ways that you can get a lower rate without having to wait years and years and years and wait for some type of crisis to hit for you to actually buy your house. You hear it all the time. You marry the house, you date the rate. Yes, I said it. I know. Let the boos and the hisses come. Scroll up from the comments, come back, get out of the comments, right? But it's the truth. You only purchase if it actually makes sense for you financially, not based on the interest rate. Right? You don't have to do some astronomical price to win out on a house just because you waited too long to buy, right? Make sure it makes sense for you financially, no matter what rate. That way, if a lower rate does come, now you're just refinancing. You're not competing for a lower rate. You just get a lower rate for the same house, right? I know it's corny. I know it's cheesy. It's cliche, but it is the truth. You marry the house, you date the rate. 3 things to focus on are your monthly payment, your long-term plan, and your exit strategy. If you don't have those things figured out, you're not ready to buy. Look, if you made it to this point in the video, one, I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. New videos come out every single week. And truth number 4, some Maryland areas are great long-term investments, and some are not. What? You're talking bad about Maryland? Yes. There are some areas that just aren't good long-term investments. This makes people very uncomfortable. Not every part of Maryland is going to give you that high yield return after 5 years that you're looking for. right? Some areas benefit from being great proximity to DC or Baltimore, strong school systems, stable employment bases, while other areas depend heavily on one employer, having declining population trends, and they struggle with resale demand, meaning people are moving out of there, but they're not moving back, right? Or they're so dependent on one employer that once you get fired from there, it's almost impossible to get a new job there, meaning people have to move out. You can't afford your house anymore. And then just a declining population. Again, if nobody's living there, nobody wants to live there. Just because the home is cheaper does not mean it's a good deal. I'll say it again, just because it's cheaper does not mean a good deal. The real question is, who wants the house after you bought it? If you don't know the answer to that, then maybe that's not a good deal. If nobody's gonna wanna live there after you, then that's not a great deal. Or you're gonna have to put so much money into it to make it appealing to someone else that you're spending the money anyway, and it's no longer a good deal. So you have to think of those things. You wanna find areas with strong school systems, stable employment bases, diverse employment bases, and maybe even places that have some type of migration trend, right? Places where government employees are moving out of, right? Places where there's new infrastructure, new office buildings being built, new companies moving in. You want to look for these type of trends to know if a place is going to appreciate the way that you want it to. All right, and truth number 5, renting isn't always throwing money away. What? No way. Yes, renting isn't always throwing money away. This one shocks a lot of people. There's situations, especially in Maryland, where renting just kind of makes more sense, especially if you have some type of job uncertainty, high HOA or property taxes, or the prices are just a little higher than you're comfortable with right now. Now, I'm not telling you to rent forever. You shouldn't be renting for 20, 30 years. However, sometimes it makes sense to rent for a year, save a little bit of money, maybe even 2 years, and get yourself financially ready to make that purchase, right? Make sure that you have a stable job, stable employment. Make sure you know where you want to go and you know what you're comfortable paying for a house. Buying only makes sense if you have some type of exit strategy or you plan to stay long enough where it just makes sense. The payment is sustainable for you at any interest rate and you're not stretching every dollar. Right? The last thing that we want is for you to buy a house and then not be able to put furniture or decorate the house and you're just sleeping on hardwood floors. That's not living, that's just existing. Now you bought a house and you can't afford anything else. That's not a good way to go about the purchase. So you have to take your time, and if that means renting for a little longer, then so be it. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. You always appreciate it. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video with somebody that needs to see it. Again, if you're looking to move within Maryland or relocate to Maryland, my information is here on the screen. You can call, text, email. Love to help you. Just reach out to us. I might make a part 2 to this video. Let me know in the comments if you want part 2 of the hard truth Realtor won't tell you. Thank you so much for your support. And as always, have a fantastic day.